We are back in the studio today, aka Ryan's Garage, and we're going to be fletching arrows on what we consider to be the most well-used, well-rounded fletching jigs on the market today. This is the Bitzenburger arrow fletching jig, which is probably the reason why you guys clicked on this video, is because you're looking for some information on it. I'm going to be going through everything you need to know about this from start to finish, show you just how easy it is. That way you guys feel confident next time you want to work up a batch of arrows for yourself. All right, so we're gonna get straight into building an arrow, and I will do my best to explain to you guys step by step as I go, so that way you kind of have a good idea of what you need to be doing. So we need to, first of all, get our acetone out. Get you a little bit in your bucket. Set that aside. All right, first things first. In order to have good adhesion, we need a good, clean working surface. Now, after you clean this, you're going to want to really pay attention to and not touch it again with your hand, because there's so many oils. See all that? There's so many oils on your hand that's what a lot of times causes the glue to not adhere very well. Then you get your veins pop off. So I'm going to get this set up. There's a little notch in here that fits for your knock. You know, put that in there like that. Now, depending on how high you want your veins on there, they have little hash marks on the side of this clamp here. So what I like to do is I like to mark one. That way, whenever I do my veins in the future, they're always in the same exact spot. Some residual glue on here. All right. Now, if you don't have, you see how much vein I have sticking out there. If you don't have a primer pen, all you need to do is get yourself a Q-tip, get some acetone on it, just give it a couple wipes. That's all you need. And take your glue, make sure it works, give it a liberal amount. Then you're going to take your jig and your fletch. I like to kind of keep downward pressure on the arrow. When you do your jig, always hit the back first before the magnet connects, because it becomes kind of a pain if you don't. Get it on there, and then once it's like this, then you can start to push it down. I always push down from this end and then slowly get, what that does, it works the bubbles out, that little channel. So you get it down, get it like that, and then if the glue oozes out, it's not a bad thing. It means you have enough in there. I mean, don't obviously go overboard, but I like to give it about 10 seconds of added pressure, like this with my fingers. And then once I do that, I let it sit for about 60 seconds. And then it's time to take it off, rotate it, and put the next vein on there. So one thing you can do while you are waiting this 60 seconds for this glue to dry is you can just take your Q-tip and wipe off any excessive glue that's on there. All right, so another key thing too to make sure when you do this, always open the clamp first before you lift it off, because you can actually pull apart that arrow. Make sure this is back. Rotate this. So I have this set up for a 3 fletch, so it's at the 120 degree mark. If you wanted a 4 fletch, this set screw would be out. This one would be all the way down. I never use this one because it's just a really goofy style of fletching. So again, we'll put our vein in our jig and our clamp here, line up the mark, make sure we clean the vein. You never know what kind of residue is on here from the factory, so it's always a good idea to clean it. The cool thing about these light colored TAC vanes is that you can actually see the air pockets coming out. So you know you have good contact. So you come up so you can see how your contact is heading all right there where it gets dark. And then you just slowly push it up and you work all the air out. And like I said, you give it a little bit of pressure. You want to really make sure that the tip right here, the vein is down and it's coming into contact with the arrow. All right, second one's done. Let's give it the last rotation here. Now the one thing I have noticed on stiffer vanes, like the ones we're using, TAC vanes in general, or like the heat vanes, is that you want to make sure your jig is lined up almost I mean, it needs to be perfect to your arrow. It needs to be perpendicular to your shaft. Because what happens is the stiffer vanes, they don't want to really flex and go around the shaft like the softer ones would. So it's imperative to make sure that the jig is properly aligned with your arrow. And the way that you do that is these two knobs on the side of the jig right here. That's what you use to adjust the head of the jig in and out in order to line it up with the center of your shaft. Now it's a little bit more tricky when you're running either a left helical or a right helical. Running a straight shaft, it's pretty simple. You can pretty much just use the factory marks in it. There's one here and then one right there. And the same thing with this one. So as you loosen these two Allen heads, you can dial these knobs and it pivots and moves that whole head in and out. I like to mark my jig here. When I have it set for a certain arrow, I'll mark it with a Sharpie and then write on there what what diameter arrow that's for. But the nice thing about this jig is that it's so universal. You can do skinny arrows, you know, the 4 mils to all the way to like the 27 diameter indoor arrows. All it just takes is just a little bit of tweaking and adjusting with this clamp right here. And you can fletch anything. You can fletch small vanes, long vanes, tall vanes. You can fletch feathers if you want. The options are really endless on this. So that's one of the benefits of having a Bitzenburger jig, and it's super easy and super user-friendly. I can't stress that enough. There's no reason why you should be apprehensive or intimidated by working on your own stuff, and fletching your arrows is probably one of the simplest and easiest things that you could do. Get it set up in the garage, crack open a cold beer, watch TV, watch your phone, do whatever you want to do. Watch some Deadhead archery channels on YouTube. I'm just saying. Then once you do that, get all three on there. Take this out. I always like to go to the next click. We're going to clean this up really quick just to make sure. All right, once we have that all cleaned off, we're going to give a little drop on the leading edge right here. Just fill up that little channel. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. And it's that simple. It's really easy to get professional quality results on a Bitzenburger jig. That is a left helical with a TAC driver 2.25s, and I've never had issues with these vanes coming off like a lot of people do say. I think one of the main issues is that they probably have residue or oil either on the vane or the shaft, or their jig isn't set up perfectly perpendicular to their arrow. So we're going to do a couple more arrows and then these will be ready to shoot. We'll do a red one this time. We'll use the red vanes. This is a 6,000 arrow, 6,000 straightness. The other ones are 1. You guys don't need to worry about that right now. That's for a later date. Pretty sure I mentioned this before, but I like to add a lot of pressure on here, like I'm doing right now with both fingers for about 10 seconds. And then I let it go and just leave it be for about 60. And then while you're waiting, you can go ahead and clean all the excessive glue that is oozed out, if you have any. I think we're pretty clean right there. You'll get some on the other side, but you'll get to that when you work on the next vane, because then you'll rotate it. Remember, always open the clamp before you move it and lift it off, because you could tear fresh vane. Doesn't need much. Quick little wipe of acetone is all you need. Keep a little pile set aside of the ones with the glue on there so you don't touch them, get stuck to your fingers. Almost. Hold. Hold. No. One more. Hold it for 10 seconds, let it sit for 60. You're good to go. And again, I've never had adhesion issues using this jig when it's aligned properly. And I've done every different style type of arrow you could think of on this one jig. It's universal, it's easy to operate, it doesn't take too much. It's just one of those tools that I think everybody should own, have in their garage. And that is the last one on here. Just be sure to follow these steps, then you can basically fletch any arrow that you have with confidence. And if you guys do have any questions, feel free to let us know down in the comments. We'll definitely get back to you and answer them as quickly as we can. Always make sure you put the cap on your glue. I've lost too many glue bottles to not having the cap on it all the way. But there you go. Just fletched up 2 arrows. Use the TAC driver 2.25s, really stiff vanes. Use the Bitzenburger Jig, some acetone, some glue, some wine beads, Q-tips. You're good to go. Ready to shoot. Thanks for watching.